Which comes back to the message that we have to preach not only week, but every day of our lives. And that is Jesus saves. Jesus saves. Now, the answer is, yeah, Peter, what if he did just, man, I thought he was going to do it. He didn't make it. That's Peter's fault. He should have remained faithful. You know, if he'd have been faithful, he could have made it all the way. But he didn't make it. But back to that point, Jesus saves and saves him because of what? He loves him. He loves him. He hears his cry. And I want us to understand, he picks him up. Now, obviously, he's not brushing him off. He picks him up and wrings him out, maybe. I don't know. But he picks him up. For you see, not only does Jesus love, and not only does he care, but the other point is, he's able. He was able to take care of it. You know, if you're one of the disciples looking at, well, that Peter is really crazy. You know, thinking he could walk on water. There's a lot of people today that are drowning in the cares and the affairs of life. All the problems they have. Oh, preacher. You know, I got family. We have families, I know in the church, that they have children that are, you know, are addicts, can't get their life in order, tears families apart, all those things. But not only he cries out to the Lord, and Jesus is able, but here's the biggie too. Peter believes he's able to save him. Now, that's a big deal, folks. Where are we as believers today? Do we still believe that Jesus saves? We don't see people getting saved anymore like they used to. Well, the Bible tells us that in the last days, you know, we would have this. I mean, let's face it, our congregation is, you know, half of what it was just a few years ago. Now, if I was just simply looking at the number of, well, Lord, man, I do my best and do all I can, and it seems like maybe not as good. Let me just say, Jesus is still able. Jesus saves. His word has not changed. He is still on his throne. So what has changed? There are many people in the church that have obviously been overwhelmed by fear, and now the habit is, well, we just don't go, so we're not going in. We need to pray for those folks, and they're not here, so I'll talk about them. Not really. I pray for them. Because, you know, fear is, that's a big thing. That's just a word, F-E-A-R. That's 4 letters. Fear. But boy, when it really hits you, fear, that's another story. Fear. Now, just for somebody to say, oh, you don't have to be afraid. Oh, that really helped. Fear. Jesus calls to him and saves him. He cries out. I guarantee you Peter was afraid. But not only did Jesus reach down and pick him up because he was able, Peter believed that the Lord could save him, and he cried out to him. Oh, it's so sad in the day in which we live. The message is so clear and real today. You know, man has, over the last couple hundred years, things that we have been led to believe. Oh, you're a lesser, you came from lesser beings and evolved to where you are. I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. We were made in the image of God. That's a big difference, by the way. Made in the image of God. And therefore, who is this Jesus? He is God in the flesh that came. God came to seek and to save mankind. Is that real? Well, let me just tell you. How many things do you think has lasted over the last 2,000 years? The church that was established is still here. After 2,000 years, there is still generation to generation to generation of those just like Peter that are still proclaiming the Word of God, and that is Jesus saves until He ultimately returns. There will still be faith. But oh, God help us, be it in the church or out of the church, in our society, we need to be looking to Jesus more than we need to be looking to man. Amen. To deliver us. Peter was drowning in water. He didn't turn back. Boys, throw me a life preserver. Throw me something. No, he cried out to Jesus, save me. The question becomes, what are we drowning in today? Is it problems that are just overwhelming? Is it lack of faith, indecision, character flaws? What is it that is keeping us from that redemption that Christ is able to deliver every soul from whatever they're drowning in today? Oh, it is so real. Jesus might as well be walking down the aisle. The faith that we can put in Him to deliver us, whatever comes our way. Enemies at the gate, enemies in the city. I guarantee you there's people today over there in the Ukraine. They're praying their dead level best. Families crouched in subways and tunnels, basements, hiding from the invading Russian army. Is it, that is appalling in my opinion. But is anybody going to listen to me? Well, I don't know how far this camera goes or whatever, but there is one we can all seek out, and that is the Lord. Oh, I pray for a miracle. I pray for a miracle that we might see these people in this country delivered from these folks, for sure. While we get a number and while we close, we're going to sing, oh, don't be drowning at the feet of Jesus. He is there to seek us, deliver us from whatever crises we may have. What number?
505, Have Thine Own Way.